Namaste. I see the divine in you as you see the divine in me. Namaste. And isn't this always a most beautiful way to greet each other? As I see the divine in you and you see the divine in me, we learn to understand what divine love consciousness is. And we are rising as a collective, as activated ones with Kairon, to a higher love, to a high frequency, and to higher ways of thought. Kairon will say, welcome to the time of the Great Awakening, as we have now entered the second phase of the Great Awakening. The second phase is learning to step into the great love together and learning to hold the love together, to bring change to ourselves and also to all of mankind. The second phase is about seeing if we would step into the greater abilities together. For this is the time when we can step into greater spiritual abilities, and especially when we become activated with great Kairon, who is the great mountain of light, we receive gift after gift after gift. And the more that we can work in the love, and the more that we can hold the love, the more that we are blessed, not only in our own lives, but also as a collective within the healing grid. So this is always the most beautiful time. It's a beautiful time to celebrate life in. It's a beautiful time to celebrate our beautiful return to the greater love dimensions. And it is lovely to feel the loving flows growing within us, and to feel our power of love growing within us, to help to bring healing to others and ourselves. So before I close my eyes, I'm going to read out the forgiveness statement. And at the divine pineal gland activations, Kairon gives us frequencies for forgiveness. And when we learn to forgive ourselves and each other greater, then our greater healing gifts can come in, which helps so many people around us and helps ourselves also. Kairon, I bring you now into my spaces of love and healing. I ask for your presence and for your love to be with me at this time. I forgive all that has caused my pain to happen. I release it now. I allow the angels to take it away for me. I bring in the love and the peace, and I desire to understand more joy and self-love. I surround myself with the highest loving divine beings who are here to take care of me. I let go of all fear within me. I release it. I trust that all things are perfect as they are. I'm ready to love myself and all of life more. Thank you, Kairon. Thank you, great divine love. And thank you for watching. Namaste. Greetings, dear brothers and sisters, dear sons and daughters in the light. I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, and I say to all who are searching for the highest ways, happy is the one who desires to find the greater path. Happy is the one who desires to investigate all what is love and what is not of love, for that one will become wise. In your days it is often difficult to find what is the wisest path. as all things are so confused in your world. When you listen to one belief being spoken, and then you listen to another belief, often it is very difficult for the human to understand what is the highest path. Many in your world say all paths lead to the same road because of the confusion in your world. How do I, as Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, look at all things? I say, happy is the one who understands the higher path. For that one is not walking in confusion, but in great clarity. And when one walks in great clarity, greater gifts can be given. This is why a person must be always thinking about the greater path of spirituality if they desire to have the highest gifts. Indeed, it is the time when the people can rejoice with their greatest gifts, because so much will happen in the near future. You will see the time of 2020 coming, when the greatest gates of the highest dimensions will close, and only those ones who go to the great mountain of the great Chiron will be able to rejoice in all lifetimes coming, because they became activated before 2020. Indeed, I, as Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, say, happy is the one who desires the higher path. For this highest path was always promised to the people who were awake first. What does it mean to be awake, you might say? Well, it means to be spiritually awake with your heart. It means to desire the highest path, and it means to constantly seek the highest truth and highest way, and it means to desire to walk upon the highest way of the life and the greatness. Many state they are walking the highest ways, but they are not. It is only the ones who are in the greatest mountain of light with the great Chiron who can state, I am walking the highest path, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. For they are feeling the calling happening within them. They are feeling their happiness growing when they walk in highest love of the highest archangels. They are sound in mind with their spiritual thoughts, and they long for the higher thoughts to come in. Constantly they work towards higher thoughts. That's what it means to walk on the higher love path. It means not to be lost any longer, but to know with certainty they will be looked after, and they will have a feast constantly at the great mountain of light, and also at my great table. And the great table of greatness is growing and growing as the talents, all the gifts, are being received by those who are listening to these words. These were the same words as Jesus gave 2,000 years ago also. Happy is the one who is awake, for they will recognize the call, and they will desire to walk upon the higher path of life and of truth. How do we know where it is? Said the people to Jesus. And Jesus stated, by listening to the heart, for the great Father speaks to the heart, and you will recognize the voice and the way. For there is only one way, and there is only one road. For this is the way all things are created. And the people 2,000 years ago desired to be on that higher road at that time. And they kept looking for it. But 2,000 years later, they can be on that road. You have seen all things you needed to see, and I say, as Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, there is no more learning to do here on this plane after this lifetime that you are having, because all thoughts have been tested and you are rising, and as the collective is rising, more thoughts will be tested. At what point will you desire to stand into the greater gifts of the great love? And this is what I always desired all things to be, is to be tested. And I stated to the great mountain of light, the great Iron, when anything is presented to you as the great divine and holy judge, then you must go and search for that, so that the greater creation can come into play. Great Iron, for I wish all of creation to rise into greater beauty. And so it was that the great Iron was put into the holy place of being that holy judge of all the divine spaces. And indeed he saw what needed to be tested, and when the tests came, he allowed all things to be tested, so that all things can come into greater alignment. And the greater alignment means that greater gates are opening for your everlasting glory. And you have waited a long time for this one gate to be opened. Only one will open in your times. Will you be the wise one who sees this road? Or will you dismiss it with all your might and say, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, I choose not to see it, for I live in my own world. I am happy in my own world. I know it isn't perfect, but I am not ready to go on to that higher road. Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. It is only those who desire to go on to the higher road in your lifetime now who will be able to receive the greater dimensional shift upwards, for they have made a choice in their hearts, and I state that their heart is good. So allow them the greater privilege, great mountain of light, great Iron. Share with them the great wealth of information, great Iron. Share with them the greatness, and then I, as Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, will bless them with all my flames of purification, so that the people can rise up to their great love once again. I, as Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, desire all of creation creation to want to learn the higher path of greatness. But I cannot gift the greater gifts of the greatness unless they come to the higher path. For otherwise there will not be the unity in the greater realms. And I, as sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, do not desire any more disturbance and disruption in the growth of the love realms. Now it is when I say to the great mountain of light, who is the great Chiron, come, let us explore what the greater abilities can become of the beautiful star beings. Let us see how strong creation can become. Let us see if they desire to rise into the greater creation abilities to bring more blessings to all of the universe. And indeed, there are people on your planet already stepping up and saying, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, how wonderful it is to be in your fold of love. How wonderful it is to hear you speak. How wonderful it is for you to be in these spaces. This is why it is important, as they can truly say, happy I am that I listened. Happy I am that I came to the great Lord, sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. Happy I am that I recognized the ascension channel. Happy I am that I came to the great mountain of light, who is the great Chiron, and became activated as soon as I could, so that I could receive the greatest blessing. And so it is, our dear friends, that I will state to you, happy is the one who desires to learn the higher path, so that they can step onto that path with their firm feet, so that they can learn the higher path within their heart, so that they become beautiful people, a beautiful people filled with a great love. Greetings, I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great.
Greetings.